Anderson Burora was suspended over utterances made about the Speaker of Parliament. That happened. Now, PLU, the Patriotic League of Uganda, happening, but to help me discuss whatever that is happening in Parliament, in a very noble way. For the very first time, welcome with me Simon Peter Watch Kaswabuli, who is the Deputy RDC for Mbara District. Very honored to have you, sir. Let me allow him to say good morning to the listener before I go to other members.
I'm very honored to be here today. Good morning, listeners of Cruise FM. It's my pleasure to be with you.
All right, welcome, Mr. Simon Peter Kaswabuli. Henry Nwamanya, who is an advocate, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Banyaji. Thank you so much for welcoming me to this show.
How was your week?
My week was great. First of all, Ramadan Kareem to all the Muslim brothers and relatives out there. Today and other days in this Ramadan, they celebrate the holy revelation, the night revelation of Laylat Al-Qadr. And of course, I want to start this show by wishing everyone, the panelists and people out there, a very, very warm welcome. Let's tune in and listen to this show very well.
Thank you so much and welcome to the show. A very renowned big seat, a very long time. Russo Akunda, welcome to the show and good morning.
Good morning, Westgand. Good morning to the listeners. It's exciting to be back on the big seat.
Yes.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
But I'm an ardent follower of this show, you know. I'm always live streaming.
Yes.
And you're holding the fort steadily.
Thank you so much. How is Kampala?
Kampala is hot.
We are told.
Yes, my week has been quite eventful and sad at the same time, you know. I lost my brother, Aaron Kabanjira. But that's life. Thank you.
All right. Council Bwenje, Dos did it. Good morning and welcome to the big set.
Okay, of course, the pleasure is mine. I want to start off, of course, as the president of the National Revolution for the Restoration of Uganda, NARU, to state categorically that we condemn as an emerging party or an emerging political force the words of the former president of the FDC, Dr. Chizares J, to the effect that the NUP should be sold to him. They're very unfortunate words. I think
Where is that on record?
Yeah, it is on the media. I've seen it. You see, you don't take the internal troubles of a political party, I mean, as a joke. Especially in a multi-party dispensation. Of course, NUP is kind of undergoing some very hard times, but it should be a lesson for all of us. For all of us, we should not make it a joke, because if it can happen to NUP, it can also happen to us. And so I want to reiterate that it is incumbent on all of us, especially the political leaders, to make sure that our political institutions are strong.
Is that how your week was?
Yeah, of course. Then, of course, I've also taken note of the suspension of the Deputy Rasisi of Rubaga. I think his comments on the speaker were careless. You don't call a speaker a thief. She has never been convicted. So I think he should know. I think from the onset that he's a senior civil servant.
Okay.
You don't make such reckless statements.
All right.
Because they have consequences. Maybe also to tell him that it is only the president who can fire him, but after giving him a fair hearing.
All right. Let's stop for a break. When we come back into a topic of discussion. Good morning.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Hit us up on www.cruisefm.com or connect to us on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram at 912 Cruise FM and join in on the discussion.
music, great friends. Good morning. My name is Wesi Gebanyaji. With me in studio is Mr. Simon Peter Watch Kasabuli, who is the Deputy Resident District Commissioner from Mbara District, Council Bwenje Deus Didit, who is a lawyer, and Henry Nwamanya, advocate. Mr. Peter Mpaka, I even forgot about you. Good morning and welcome to the Big Set. I have Bruce Wakunda. Yes, good morning, Peter, and welcome to the Big Set.
Yeah, thank you, West J, and good morning, our dear listeners and panel. And I want to welcome you to this show. Maybe if I can take a minute to comment on the Deputy RCC for Rubaga. For us, the common people, we celebrate him. And we really pray that even other civil servants become activists, because we must become serious with the council. Let's put aside these legalese and the elitism of people like Wenje Deus Dedit, who come here to massage the cancer.
Okay.
For us, we are serious to fight corruption, and that's why there are no troubles in Noop. We are serious. If it means going away with Mpuga, we will go away with him, but we must send a clear signal that there are no drugs in hospitals because of corruption. Our roads are messy because of corruption. And therefore, I congratulate Mr. Burora and all other serious civil servants who are tired of this government and its corruption.
Thank you. In fact, you've said the ball. No. You've said the ball running. Let me invite the RDC. Your very own Burora was suspended for being very active on calling on the Speaker and the leadership in Parliament to order as far as corruption is concerned. Is this the price to pay for standing for the truth after all, quote unquote, if it is? And are all of you, even you civil servants, going to take the example of Burora and speak out for things that affect all Ugandans? Mr. Adesi.
Thank you, host. Well, first and foremost, I have to warn you that you're hosting a serious politician and an adult, a grown-up person in this kind of politics. Sometimes there are some things we don't need to talk about. Like now, the other is a colleague of mine. I cannot just come here and then start embarrassing him or say that what he did was.
But you can say whether what he did was right or not, Mr. Adesi.
No. Can you do something? Can you say something of that kind?
I think I want to correct him.
Yes.
He's not a politician. Because being an RDC or an RCC, you automatically cease being a politician and you become a public officer. So that's why he saw onto the public service standing orders. So when he's here as a public officer, not as a politician.
Oh, okay.
And he has the right to talk about the affairs of government, especially the interaction between the people, the district councils, and government. So to ask him to talk about a fair RDC, there's nothing wrong about it in law or in fact.
Okay.
Something that if he feels uncomfortable with the show and the topic, he can simply move out. When things are casual, he can come in and debate.
Yes. Okay. Let's allow the RDC to have his flow. Let's respect him.
Good.
Yes. Let's respect him. If you're not comfortable talking about a colleague, we can allow that pass. But will you be still uncomfortable to talk about the issues that are happening in Parliament? Because that's on the basis upon which you were invited.
When they are beating members of the opposition,
let's
they're
allow him.
comfortable.
Let's allow him.
Mr. Host.
Yes.
I want discussion to be a mature discussion.
Yeah, it
If
is.
it's my floor, let me talk about what I'm supposed to
Please
talk
do.
about.
Go right ahead.
If somebody wants to inform me, let him come in as an informer.
Please, Mr. RDC, the floor is
I'm just
yours.
an RDC for 2 years. I entered the politics in 1996. I don't know, some of these people had joined politics as a youth wing in Kampala district. So if I say that I'm a politician since 1996. Okay? So if he says that I'm not supposed to discuss as a politician, I'm telling you the aspects where I understand things. I don't understand things in that's his aspect. That's where he understands things. So I cannot talk about my colleague I cannot say that it was good for him to be suspended or whatever he said was good, because I don't know in what perspective did he say and in what perspective was he suspended. So with that, I call it
Okay,
a pass.
away from Burora, Burora had the audacity to talk about the things that were happening in Parliament. And it's on the invitation that we made it here for you.
Sure.
Now, is it likely that you're going to talk about, first, the aspect that are being raised on corruption and abuse of office of Parliament? Yesterday, we saw a resumption of Parliament, and the Speaker denied members of Parliament to even talk about this. Would you think it is right for you to know about this?
Host, I have a problem. Uganda is driven by these, I won't say these young people, but by the people who are hypocrites. They want just to find themselves in sounding people around, calling about having mercies from the people. They just interject, they just bring in something, whatever they see, they bring it on floor. I want to tell you everything categorically clear that these people know what they're talking about, what is supposed to be talked about, and what is not supposed to be talked about. I carried a constitution. I'm good. I'm lucky that even my colleague here at council.
We have
carried
two
a
lawyers,
constitution. Yes,
literally.
my council there carried a constitution. When you look at the parliament, that's chapter 6. There are so many things which I expect these MPs must know that they are not supposed. They cannot be done. We cannot, as much as we want to talk about the parliamentary commission, we are going just to talk about it, but there's a law which is guiding us not to talk about this and this and this. Much as we are going to talk about the fraud in the parliament, but there's a law which is limiting us to say that and this and this. But for them, they come out But they come out to seek the public sympathy.
No. I'm
and
just
then they
asking
come out
him.
murmuring,
I'm
they
just
say
asking
everything.
him
You
which
see,
law is that?
I've told you.
Because if he's
You
talking
know,
about the sub judice rule, this case is not in court.
You open, no.
Yes, so
open it.
which
You have
law?
a constitution.
I have it in the
carried a
head.
competition.
I have it in the head.
Can you tell us article chapter 6, and then
Yes.
article the functions of the parliament? That's it.
Those ones all of us here know.
Those ones are
No, tell us.
to legislate,
No, that's why. Huh?
to make a budget, to oversee the actions of
We know the roles of
executive.
Parliament: representation, oversight, legislation, and appropriation.
But
Sometimes you just know the surface of the law. You don't dig deep about the
read
law.
it.
But
And also,
that's
you
it.
see, you have to read the constitution hand in hand with the interpretation act.
Maybe Mr. RDC, my land colleague here.
When we being deliberately digressed from the
Yes,
no,
that's
that's the matter.
exactly.
No.
I mean, I think we've gone diversional.
see.
We've gone into things that
Yes.
are not important.
A member of the panel, when you make a statement, you must defend it.
You speak to the microphone
Yes, it is. It's a microphone. So if I ask him to substantiate
Okay.
that specific law,
Now,
I'm not wrong.
You know what happened yesterday? You saw what happened yesterday. Do you know that speaker was by law avoiding whatever was said? She said that, please, I cannot act on rumors, because the parliamentarians know that everything to be discussed in the parliament is supposed to come on the order paper. They know all the precedents, all the lines, how, when, what to discuss in the parliament. It's not just by hearsay. She talked very well and said, I cannot just talk about, I cannot just discuss. This parliament cannot just contain on the rumors around. So
Okay.
I think these guys know what
you.
to do,
Thank
but they just come around to seek public sympathy each and every time.
Thank you. Let me go to Wakunda. I want us to go to the matter. You saw what happened. There were calls entirely throughout ever since these allegations came in. And there's been a call to the Speaker of Parliament to reconvene Parliament to discuss some of these things. And we know the consequence has been now the NUP recalling their commissioner that they nominated to Parliament as commissioner. We know that yesterday when Parliament had a session, the Speaker denied literally everyone to talk about these allegations.
Because it's
Is
not
this
just
way
hearsay.
to go?
You know,
Wakunda.
I have been following closely the Parliament exhibition on corruption. And you see, this is putting a speaker into a difficult position. Here you are being accused of corruption. And people expect the same person to call Parliament from recess to discuss her. That is expecting too much. And you see, that is the crop and breed of leaders we have in Uganda today. You see, it is very sad for me to speak. Sometimes I speak as if I'm in opposition. Yet I'm actually, I support the NRM.
Let's allow him.
The exhibition the exhibition has been very revealing and interesting. Looking at the gravity of the details revealed, it looks like an unfolding movie. But sadly, that is a mirror of our entire political economy. That is what is happening. You see, Parliament is not run like a private entity or a private business or a homestead. Parliament is facilitated and run by taxpayers' money. Therefore, there is no way, and it is not acceptable for leaders to continue foiling debate and blatantly avoiding accountability. Because if we give you responsibility, and we say this is Parliament, Parliament is charged with the mandate to provide oversight, actually over other organs and institutions. So if you cannot hold yourself accountable, if you cannot account for the resources we've given you, how are you going to account other institutions? Two issues now. When you look at this exhibition and all the details that have been revealed, I choose to look at it in twofold. One, as a moral issue. Two, as a legal issue. When you look at, for instance, the speaker has 19 million, according to the details, for entertainment every time she travels. 16 million for airtime. What on earth? How on earth is she being entertained for 19 million? So maybe they can be justified. The per diems, the travel allowances in the law. But we must accept that whatever is legally acceptable can also be unreasonable. Something can be legal, but when it is immoral. When you look at the moral side of it, you are a leader for sure. And it is alleged that you take 400 million every week. And you say integrity demands that you do what is right, not what is convenient for you. It doesn't matter how inconveniencing it is. It doesn't matter how unpopular it is. But if something is right, you're supposed to do it. That is what
information.
No. Okay, let me allow you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Now, when he says that even if the entitlements are legal, but they are immoral, now he, as a member
No,
of the
he has
NRM
said,
Yes,
maybe
he
you
said-
get him right,
No.
that it should be in the interest of doing what is right.
You see, the law presumes that the way it is how the people want it.
No, you see,
Now, when you don't want it the way it is, you amend
Actually,
it or you
Wenji-
did it.
Okay.
So he's a member of the ruling government.
Wenji,
They have
you know-
not moved any law to
Council
amend
Wenji.
that same law which provides for those entitlements.
Council Wenji.
So for him to come here and behave as a moralist, really it is so absurd.
No, please.
Let's hear the information.
Let me
Yes.
just, we have a problem. We're discussing something. Of recent, when that thing came up, I happened, I'm a person who goes around on YouTube, what. I happened to see when they were hosting one of our senior citizens, Waswalule. He was in cries. He said that we put this country into a dish. Us. Him. Because them who made the constitution put this country into a dish. Because they gave a parliament a lot of powers, I think 100 plus powers. So whatever they're doing, whatever they say that is by law, yes, the powers belong to them. So
Okay.
whatever we're going to discuss, they have
So-
the powers.
Okay.
Council Wenje, you see, it is not by mistake that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. It
No,
was
no.
it was
Let's allow
deliberate.
it. Yes.
It was deliberate that we listen more than we speak.
But this man doesn't believe in God, so taking him there is.
No, no, it's okay. So it is not a mistake that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Okay.
You should do some listening more than you speak. And I chose my words very carefully. I said it might be legal but unreasonable. To me, this is my opinion.
You should amend it.
So now we look at some other issue, and my issue is with the traditional media, because this exhibition has been on social media. But if you look at, we have parliamentary reporters, we have journalists at Parliament, but they have also been sitting on their tongues.
They have not said anything.
They have not said anything. I don't know whether they have been compromised like everyone else. I don't know if it is because of we know how the media is going now, shrinking advertising revenues, low general turnovers to media companies. Maybe they have instructions from their bosses that if they meddle into these issues, they might not get deals to run these companies. But you see, all stakeholders, be it the president, be it the Auditor General's office, be it the IGG, be it the ordinary citizens, we must go to full length. We must go to full length. We must put our feet down. We must stand up and hold these leaders to account.
Accountable.
You see, they cannot go scot-free. This is a public office. For God's sake, if they have appropriated money to you and you spend it in such a manner.
But Wakunda, and you being unfair to these leaders who are saying, if we are called on to be accountable, what are the sources of some of this information that is being alleged against us?
No, you see some of
if someone is going to get any piece of paper that has some kind of data on it and obnoxiously just presents it and calls it credible information, how would you expect the speaker to say? If he says, "Can we have this proved?"
No, but you have been
before I even have comment on it.
You have been for you have been.
They can suspend an RCC. What tells you that there's no water in this?
Speak to the microphone.
You've been following.
Yeah, let's allow him
You've
conclude.
Let me conclude. You've
Let,
been
let,
following
let,
closely.
let's allow him
And
conclude.
the Public Relations Office of Parliament, Chris Obore, has been running all over the media,
Yes.
making clarifications. I want you to tell me where he has said this is not true. First of all, he was in denial on the speaker's part.
He has entirely rubbished these reports. He has said
No.
they are not founded on any truth and they are not factual.
No.
He in fact went ahead and said the per diem that is given to the speaker is about $400.
No.
These reports are quoting about $4,000.
Actually, he said 4,000 on NTV on the spot. He admitted to that.
Okay.
Bana host.
Yeah, Mr. Ardis, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, give me a minute. Give me a minute before these people comes in.
No, but
You
she
know,
doesn't give orders here.
This is
No,
something.
let's allow him.
This
say.
is something which I'm seeing, or which I've just observed that it's because it's gone to other people and others who have not got it. They're complaining. I wonder about the honourable speaker yesterday was in the parliament. There is something which is stated that the council, the commission sat some time back because you are complaining about your fuel. You members of parliament. I don't want to bring these such things into public. You understand me? That means that the commission sits whenever it's of advantage to everybody. They keep quiet. But if it's to some individuals, they come out.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
I think the speaker was right. She does not want a repetition of what happened in the saga of Zake, because the Constitutional Court stated that since she was a person in question, she could not have presided over investigations of Zake. So I think to avoid conflict of interest, because you see, this exhibition actually is entirely aimed at her. Okay, so I think it was
it's
right
entirely
you see,
on
but
the leadership of
her
parliament.
character
Because
is in question.
if a political
She's the leader of parliament.
if a political party is even going to an extent of recalling its nominated commissioner,
Yes.
you cannot zero down to the speaker of parliament. Yet other people are actually being recalled.
You see, so she's the person of interest because in that meeting she was the chairperson. So definitely she's a person of interest and she's conflicted as a person. So I don't think it is lawful for her to kind of chair a meeting or a session where her conduct is impugned.
Then where should members of parliament take this conversation? Where should the debate
so
go?
now the Constitutional Court in that case
The
of
people he's
Zake,
accused. So he's going to
So
hold
he's
that
going to
session.
chair.
yes,
such a
now
session.
We are going to invite the
executive
correct
branch
preside
of
over
government
parliament.
Okay.
has investigative departments. They should investigate, but not to expect the same speaker and the same deputy speaker whose conduct is impugned to be the ones to chair proceedings against them. That is totally unfair.
Okay,
because you cannot be a judge in your own cause.
So Henry, it was wrong for the members of parliament to call on the speaker to reconvene parliament to debate something that she's a center to.
Of course, like Council Dale said, in the principles of natural justice, you cannot be a judge in your own case. Nema judex in kososwa, he knows it, and the people who know the legalese. It is unfortunate that Article 164, Clause 3 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, as amended, gives the Parliament powers to oversee the accountability of this country. What the MPs did, of course, there is a Pakistan saying that never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. They were right to take that kind of direction, and I have to inform the colleagues in this studio that Article 82, Clause 7E of the Constitution, still in that regard, gives the members of Parliament the right to recall the Speaker upon realization and conviction that she has messed up, misconducted, and abused the office she's in. But that has to happen when 2/3 of Parliament pass a resolution and agree to recall her from the seat. So, the direction we are taking, I have to warn the Deputy RDC that the snake you're feeding is going to bite you at some point. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the French leaders in history, had a wife called Marie Antoinette, and I think people who read European history know what happened. She was behaving in the way some of our leaders are behaving, and in that regard I still have to warn the Speaker, if she can hear me, that you may think you have power right now to do what you want, but this government, the state, works in a different way, and at any point you will get back to answer the questions you're supposed to answer. Mr. Banyaji, the country is suffering right now because the leaders are enjoying, and in public they pretend to be fighting for us. The Deputy RDC has informed us that I think the Deputy Speaker or Speaker said that she doesn't want to bring certain things in public.
That is Speaker yesterday.
Yes, but MPs convene when it is the matter of interest to them to feed their stomachs and loot our money. But we have chances, and I have to inform the masses out there still that Article 84 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, as amended by the Constitutional Amendment Act of 2018, gives them a right to recall their members of Parliament if they feel that what they voted them for is not what they are doing. And this, sadly now, the people have to still go through the office of the Speaker. They have to write to her, and if she agrees, she has to inform the Electoral Commission within 7 days, and the Electoral Commission has to put a public inquiry, and once they are guided that there is abuse and whatever the allegations are true, they can declare the seat vacant and hold a re-election. However, from the biblical point of view, we have to sadly sit and watch the space, because Psalms 127:2 says that it is unfortunate that you toil to feed on what you toil for, but God gives that to those he loves when they are sleeping. Let me say it in Runyankore. Muhendekera busa imwe abimukakare mukarya kandi mukahendekera mukarya byo muhendekire ebyo ruhanga babakunda bagwije gire. That is what before
you're seated with the pastor, so please don't quote the Bible out of context.
Let me tell you,
these guys are not seated and sleeping and getting from God. They are just rooting us.
These
actively.
people are looting us, and God is giving them that chance for now. But there is a day for judgment.
Actually,
And we are going to be somewhere, Deputy RDC, we are going to be somewhere seated on a radio like this one, listening to redemption songs when these people
We shall
are being pushed away. These mansions they are creating are going to be hotels, And some of us are going to
Prison is
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
It's about time.
Welcome to the Cool Club.
Oh, yeah.
91.2 Cruise FM.
My station.
Great music, great friends. Attention everyone, the Ministry of Health has planned to vaccinate all persons aged 1 year to 60 years old to protect them against yellow fever disease. The mass vaccination Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
20 minutes to the top of the hour on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. The Big City is on. I want to say thank you to every other person that is locked in. We appreciate you. We keep doing this just for you. Now, the Big Sit happens every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11. What we do is sit and invite very informed elite people like these ones this morning, and people of authority like Mr. Kaswabudi, who is the deputy RDC, to talk about issues of national relevance. And with me in studio is Mr. Peter Simon Watch Kaswabudi, who is the deputy resident district commissioner, Mbara District. Mr. Bwenje Deus Didit, who is a lawyer. Mr. Henry Nwamanya, lawyer. Mr. Peter Mpaka, he's called himself a pastor, but he's a member of the National Unity Platform, and my good friend Bruce Wakunda, who is a member of the National Resistance Movement. Now, before we went into the break, whatever that was happening on how God is going to keep blessing those that he loves while they are sleeping as others are toiling for them, that's for another day. But what we know is that the NUP, I saw your deputy spokesperson quoting a section in the Interpretation Act where he said he who has the power to hire has the same power to fire. But we know these lawyers have made good interpretation of whether NUP has in fact the legal backup to recall a commission of parliament who is now an official of parliament away from being just a member of the party. Where do we move from here? Because in the close of things, this is a part of the corruption that is being raised. If Mpuga, like he has entirely made it known to all of the people in the party, but even us here, that he doesn't intend to leave the commission. And you will not be allowed very easily to call him by any other way, even when we know that you've already nominated someone to replace him. What's the way to go as a party? Because if he doesn't, then what happens?
Yeah, thank you, SJ, and thank you, my dear panelists who have already submitted, and our listeners who are there, and your group on the Big Seat this morning. Now, you've asked me a very tactical question in law, and I'm not well versed with the law, but for me, I'm going to talk as a Kakura Nkonya and a Katera Masinde. I'm going to speak as a foot soldier and an ordinary person.
Yes.
That's how they speak until they reach.
So,
Okay, let
I think
him go.
if a member of the panel is required to give an opinion of the law, I think it is fair for him to file a question to lawyers.
Counsel, yes.
So when they guide, then he can pick up from there.
Please.
But when he starts from a point of fact instead of a point of law, then he's going to mislead all of us.
Okay, please. The Interpretation Act.
I think when you read that letter of yesterday, the letter of yesterday.
Can you give us the citation for the law?
Yes.
So that you guide and then we move on.
The last statement of that letter says, we are going to trigger the necessary legal processes to effect our resolution as a party. That statement means that their resolution as a party is not absolute.
Yes.
It is subject to the resolution of Parliament. So it is possible that even if they have already appointed Honorable Zake will never be a parliamentary commissioner if Parliament has refused him to do so.
What is the position of the law as regards?
The position of the law is
whether
that she or he who has powers to appoint can also have powers to disappoint.
Yes.
But you don't read the Interpretation Act on its own. For example, a judge is appointed by the President of the Republic
But
of Uganda
never can he
on the recommendation
move to
of
fire
the
him.
Judicial Service Commission, but cannot fire him just out of nothing.
Okay.
So that rule is subject to the general rule that every rule has an exception.
Okay, thank you.
Can I add in?
Yes.
Can I add on that? The opposition has powers to move a resolution to remove this commissioner by guidance of Rule 110, the Rules of Parliament Procedure. So they, through their foot soldiers, can raise a voice to the members of opposition in Parliament, and if they can garner 2/3 of the members of Parliament, they can definitely remove the commissioner from the office.
Okay,
But also, if I may add, you see, it is impossible and it is unconstitutional to remove the Honorable Mpuga from his role as a parliamentary commissioner for actions which he made when he was not a parliamentary commissioner, when he was a leader of the opposition. Now,
I don't agree. Council, I entirely do not agree.
Section 2 and 5
so
of
we
the
cannot see a situation where a person can be disappointed because of their prior behavior.
No. You see, the law which allows for Parliament to remove a parliamentary commissioner, that is Section 2 and 5 of the Administration of Parliament Act as amended in 2005, provides as follows: that Parliament shall remove a parliamentary commissioner for either infirmity of mind, misconduct during the performance of his functions as a parliamentary commissioner.
Okay.
Not for previous conduct.
Okay.
Now,
so they cannot accuse him of conduct and which he never did as a parliamentary commissioner, and then they use it to impeach him as a parliamentary commissioner.
Yes.
That is wrong.
Thank you, Peter.
So, my fellow Katera Masinde, Katera Matafaris, you've heard the legalese. But for me, I want to come back to you as the ordinary people, and we talk the sense that matters to us. Because right now, we don't have drugs in the hospital because of the impugalization and the magogolization of our economy. I don't have a problem per se with the speaker, number 3 in the country, going away with the 400 millions per day or per week, because this is a very significant person in the country. I wouldn't have a problem with it. And the so-called excesses we are talking about, by the way, for me, I wouldn't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is seeing a junior staff in the office of the speaker withdrawing billions of money in the name of the speaker, and then also the following day withdrawing another 1.7 billions in the name of the speaker under the so-called social responsibility. If these monies we are talking about were going directly to the speaker's account for specific activities in the country and in a transparent manner, I don't think Ugandans would have a problem with it. But when you hire your private secretary, your personal assistant, your director of communications, your driver, to withdraw billions of money on your behalf, I think that's where for us, the ordinary people, feel defeated in our fight against feel defeated again in our fight against corruption. And I think this is something very important that points to the moral decadence and the impunity of our leaders. So for me, WestJ, having stated that, I would want to call upon every Ugandan. No, don't just leave this fight to us in the NUP. Don't leave this fight to us, the foot soldiers who are speaking on your behalf. I think it is incumbent on every citizen of Uganda, as of now, in the state of affairs that we are seeing in this country, to rise up and say we should move to another kind of topic in this country. Because when you see billions of money being swindled, you have Mama Bukedia radio station signing a contract of 3.76 billions for just adverts, and they tell you that the people who signed.
What's wrong with that?
No, you see, this is the problem.
Is it in the amount of money, or that this contract is being made with an institution owned by the speaker?
Influence peddling.
You see,
So if at all,
we have to ask ourselves, how many radio stations are there? So where all the procurement
but these
procedures
Wenje people that are always legalists
when you
are
come
creating a
here
problem.
to make any accusation, you must have evidence.
But what evidence do you want?
No, you see,
What evidence
no,
do you want?
it is not
Me,
illegal.
I've told you,
for Parliament.
evidence.
No. It is not
Evidence.
illegal for Parliament
Wenje, listen.
to make a contract with an institution owned by the speaker.
That is correct.
Evidence
That
that
is
we
correct.
need, the evidence that we need. I think it was my time.
Yes.
And I've given the whole panel.
Station,
You have
what's wrong
even
with that?
guided.
Okay.
I've given you my many minutes, and you guided,
What's wrong
and
with that?
whatever you are saying
Yes.
doesn't amount
saying
to
she cannot
what
own
I-
a radio station.
What I want to say,
Sometimes I
what I want to
sympathize
say
with these
is
parties,
this.
I don't know if they have legal advisors. That's what I said in the first place. That these people just do things in order to be seen. They're like now him. Like now the parties I'm talking about.
even-
But
by the way,
I'm talking
even
about.
lawyers-
Even lawyers are known.
Please,
Because they know-
Even some lawyers are known crooks.
No.
Yes.
See.
They connive
Let's
with
not
their clients
see.
to
Let's not
take
attack.
part in-
Let's not attack
I
our
want to
professions.
protect-
Let's be
I'm
very,
not attacking
very
the lawyers, but I'm
professional.
saying that
No.
the
Let's
parties
not
sometimes
be
they-
emotional.
Please protect.
Wait, all of you should keep quiet.
All right.
The question is, does the right honorable Anita Mong have the right to contract with government
Exactly, she does.
in her
On
individual
behalf- on
capacity?
behalf- on behalf of the
Second,
parliament.
second,
Yes.
are those the market prices? If at all we went and did an audit,
That's
how
one.
much
That's
money
one.
was
Most
to
important.
our radio station?
That's why
Most
Amazon
importantly,
bidding,
and the staff.
bidding,
You have-
bidding.
you know-
Did she
how much
follow-
time- you know how much time
did she follow due process?
Do you know how much
Yes.
time she asked for from that radio?
Now, me, I want to come
Because
in here.
they are selling air. She must have ordered. She must have requested for a whole day. How much is your time here?
Okay.
Can you imagine what we are having here? For me,
Let's allow.
Wenje, please, first wait. For me, itwe bakatera nkonya bakakura masinde. This is our issue. Whether you try to you see,
She's trying to
you see. You
lean
see,
to
you
public
see.
sympathy.
No.
But public sympathy should also abide by the law.
It is my strategy. It is my strategy. It
No,
is
no,
my tactic.
and
You-
that
you
is
see
wrong.
that-
So
That
your
is wrong.
your tactic
them,
is to
for
seek
them,
sympathy.
for them.
Seek public sympathy.
For me, I'm calling out to the ordinary man to wake up. Because Museveni akatuletera oturo muntu businge, but this is oturo. If we keep quiet, then we are totally asleep.
you see-
What I'm saying is this. Listen to me, Bwenje.
Conclusively.
You will come in. What I'm saying is this. It is not wrong, and I said it, for the speaker to go with 400 millions in a day. I don't have a problem. It is not wrong for the speaker to go with 3.76 billions. But the problem is, why is it that the staff of the office of the speaker are the ones signing a contract for Mama Bukedia Radio FM? Why?
Staff of.
The staff of the office of the speaker in parliament, are they the managers of the same radio
But
station?
You know the level,
So for
signing
me,
the radio, signing for the parliament.
signing for the radio, the contract of the radio.
You know what is sad for
That is-
us
that-
Yeah.
is that people who are supposed to hold the government to account are also taking part in this haste. The opposition.
Like-
You remember when I think Mpaka had crossed to to PLU? If it was not for the eating, What are you going to do to PLU? If he had been convicted that NUP had the best interests for him and for the country, I remember very well, vividly, he had crossed to PLU, and I can assure you.
And you think for you that is the biggest letdown?
Yes, that is the biggest letdown. These people, Mpaka and his group, they are just making noise to reach there. And also take part in the route, like Mpuga is doing, like Semuju is doing, like everyone else.
Now, who will remain as the watchman for our country?
I think
Let me tell you something.
So I don't want Mpaka. I don't want Mpaka. I don't want Mpaka to stand here and then claim to be on a higher moral pedestal. I can assure you, whether Mpaka, whether Bobby Wine, whether Bwenje, these people have no goodwill. They have no genuine interest in
but people, all of you listen, RDC.
Yes.
But the people that demonstrated that they would pay the cost, Ugandans rejected them. Besigye is there. Mutisha Muntu is there. The credentials that can speak for themselves.
That's the
but
dilemma.
Ugandans
Because
rejected them.
if you look at Mpuga and how he has been appealing to us, he's seasoned, he's smart, he's polished.
To who?
No, to us.
Hey.
Me and me and other people. People of Mukundo who elected him.
Tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Friends.
Great friends.
We're back. It's 2 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Good music, good friends. Every other person that is locked on radio, I want to appreciate you very much. And I know there is a salon that is always very loud. TNT Delight there. Penny, Lob, Joanne, Moton, Charlotte, Sudais, and every person that is locked on the radio. I want to appreciate you very much. There is a lady in Makansing called Anita. She always has her radio very loud for us. And Robes, Total, Revi Corner, Day-to-Day Supermarket, Golf Course Supermarket, and all these places where Cruise FM is very loud. We want to say thank you very much. The feedback is important. So drop us a line on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. On our social media handles, 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. What do you think about the debate on corruption in Parliament? But I have with me in studio Mr. Simon Peter Kaswabuli, who is the Deputy President, District Commissioner, Mbara District. Mr. Bwenje Daus Didit, who is a lawyer. Henry Nwamanya, lawyer. Peter Mpaka, who is a pastor and a member of the National Unity Platform. And Bruce Owakunda, who is a member of the National Unity National Resistance Movement. Yes, Mr. RDC, as you get to say your final remarks on this.
First and foremost, I have to inform the listeners that it's not my making just to leave the program hanging. You must tell them how we agreed and how we...
No, you can go to the matter, sir.
Yes. No. You know, as Peter, as Peter, you know, Peter mentioned about it, that if you cannot talk about your fellow RDC, please, it's better you run away from the program, you go out. So people might think that I've done so.
Okay.
Yes, so
Okay,
you have to
thank you.
defend me.
Okay.
You have to defend me that
Thank you.
we agree that I'll be here for only 1 hour.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now, for my listeners, please. I don't want these guys to jive you. I don't want these people to be here, lie to you. These MPs knows what they are tampering with. They know they're just seeking public sympathy. They're just seeking for your sympathy out there. But they know whatever they are doing, that the Constitution gave the Parliament, I think, 100 plus powers to do whatever they are doing. And whatever they are doing it out within the law.
Thank you, Mr. Adesi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being a part of this. Bruce Owakunda, and there is something interesting that I want to bring you up to speed. I saw an article by Andrew Mwenda where he clearly said, you see, Parliament and what it's doing right now, it's playing in exactly the hands of General Museveni. He wants this kind of thing to happen so that it looks like it's Parliament that is at fault and they are busy appropriating money to themselves and they have no legitimacy, they don't think and care for the common person. And before we know it, he came out with a picture of the Speaker of Parliament as if to mean that two arms of government are at par and whatever that is happening in Parliament is not affecting the executive in any way. And the president looks like he painted a picture of good working relation. Even when people thought maybe he would make a call on the Speaker of Parliament, this is never going to happen. And Mwenda went ahead to say corruption is actually what glues society together. And the president now spends less money on Parliament after you had let them be and whatever that they're doing to the consolidated fund. Bruce.
You know, that is sad, but right. What I have an issue with Andrew, and I used to hold him in high regard. He used to be a brilliant journalist, very firm, very brave, and he used to hold powers that be to account. But you see, his article is like a postmortem, because some of the details he reveals in that article says that the president had received intelligence that what is happening now had been happening, and that he had actually sent SFC to go to Bank of Uganda, to go to even Stanbic Bank, to get personal details of amongst bodyguards and drivers, that apparently they were also receiving some money on behalf of the speaker. No, but I don't know why Andrew chooses to come out this time when Agatha and Godwin and Spire have brought these things to the public fora. Yet he claims to have received this information last year. And again, it is also very difficult to trust him. He could be trying to do damage control. But he raises very pertinent issues in that article, if you examine it very carefully. He says that the president had been spending so much money on bribing parliament. Every time they want to pass a supplementary budget, every MP has to get 100 million. Every time the president is pushing for something, he has to bribe parliament. Now he says Anita Among is doing the job for the president. And he says as long as the president is receiving that hand of assistance from Anita Among, then the president is okay with it. But you can see there is something fundamentally wrong with that. And we cannot accept that, and we cannot agree with that, and we cannot condone it. But you see, we must look at it in a broader picture. The Speaker of Parliament, whether she's being under investigation, she has not yet been impeached or recalled from her duties. She's a Speaker of Parliament. So anytime she can go and ask for an appointment with the president to consult, or the president can call her. But corruption, when we talk about corruption, Wesige, look at this parliament to begin with. We have a big and bloated parliament. It is a burden to the taxpayer. Before we even get to this corruption and stuff, we have the biggest parliament in East Africa. Kenya is a bigger economy. And you see, even when you have a bigger parliament, it does not mean that there is equality, more participation in legislation processes or an effective legislation. It does not mean if you have 500 members, what they are going to deliberate on will be of better quality. And we are experiencing it. We must first of all get a way to downsize parliament, because we cannot continue to borrow unregulatedly and also spend unregulatedly. We cannot just borrow to feed a few people while the majority of the citizens are in bad conditions. We cannot sit back. It doesn't matter which political party you subscribe to. People across the political divide, we must all come out and deal with corruption. And the last time I was here, I told you corruption is now in our DNA.
But you see, Wakonda, when especially those that are really not in the middle of doing things, here a member of the national resistance movement calling on government and public and civil servants to stop corruption, and eventually the person who stole Mavati is still minister. All these people, okay, the president may not call a sanction on the speaker.
Yes.
But even when investigations have been carried out, and it's very clear, all the person is doing is to bring back what he stole, and there is no direct sanction on that person.
The fight against corruption is not an individual fight. It is a collective fight. Let the president do what he's supposed to do. But let me tell you, haven't we seen ministers who have been implicated in corruption scandals being recalled by the people? Didn't the people of Rukunjiri vote out Jim Muhwezi? Can't we vote out Naban?
Isn't he a member of parliament?
Again, but hadn't they recalled him? What if they had chosen not to put him back? These people that stole Mabati, we have the power to the ballot. We can recall them ourselves.
But that's not punishment enough. Someone should know.
It is punishment enough. It is punishment enough. And that is what we can afford. I've said.
But can't we hear a situation where the president who appoints members of cabinet can call on Goret Chitutu and say step aside as investigations are being carried on? You're not.
You see, the president said he's going to manage it politically, that he would take political action. Political action maybe means he can drop some in a reshuffle or not. But that is for the president. Me, I'm speaking for myself.
No.
And other people at the grassroots.
You see, that is the hypocrisy with NRM members who purport to be members of the opposition. They fear the president, and then they come here on TV to say that let the president do what he wants. No, you write a letter to him as a member of the NRM and say we are tired of A, B, C, and D. okay, but not come here and then try to massage the issue that you see he is going to make a reshuffle.
No.
The people are going to vote him out. No, he's your chairperson of your party.
Let's not pretend. Let's not. No, let me tell you, the president is the number one citizen. He's the biggest consumer of intelligence in this country. To sit here and I pretend like the president doesn't know what is taking place in this country.
But when he doesn't act,
That's it. He chooses on his actions. I'm speaking for myself and the voter. The power we have is to recall these people, because we cannot be in the shoes of the president to act.
But the people are using the same resources that they steal to buy sugar, salt, and whatever.
Yes, that comes back to us. Yes. Why do we go for handouts? Why should you give me sugar? What are you paying me for? Why are you giving me sugar? That's why we need massive civic education. And let me tell you, if there is massive civic education and you tell people these are the roles of our members of parliament, he's not supposed to attend your burial, or he's not supposed to give you handouts, but he's supposed to ensure that there are services, there are schools, there are health centers.
Thank you.
We can deal with that.
Let me bring in Henry. Henry, it's as if, in fact, how the Speaker of Parliament treated these allegations is not for starters. We know that Gerard Karhanga, prior to extraction of oil in the Albertine Graben, had come up with what we would call papers, as Julian Assange papers, how are they, WikiLeaks of sorts.
WikiLeaks, yes.
All right, where he tabled papers of Hilary Onek and Amama Mbabazi and Sam Kutesa to have gotten kickbacks in awarding of the contracts to the oil giants. And the president, you know how hot air it was, and the president eventually said, according to the intelligence and the information I got, this was simply hot air and there was nothing substantial in those papers. This is where we are at. A group of people come up with reports and whistleblow and call on government, and before you know it, the same players that are being given this information are discarding it on the premise of simply being hot air and allegations that are heading nowhere.
First of all, I have to agree with the previous speaker that President Museveni is a very wise man. We may think that he is not wanting to attack anyone, but I believe the president is leaving out this issue to let the masses out there see what the people he is tired of are doing. I think it's one way of him saying, I want to eliminate these people, but you see what they are doing yourselves and don't vote them again in these offices. I believe, apart from some constituencies, there are some constituencies in this country that are no joking subjects. If you do manyanga in parliament, they are not going to vote you there again. And trust me, believe me, most of these members of parliament are not going back to parliament because of what is transpiring in their offices. That said and done, the Speaker of Parliament may say that this is hearsay, but I know deep inside her she knows that it is a hot stone that she has put in her mouth. That is why people like Chris Obore, who are just employed to speak on her behalf, of course he has a public office, but they agree with some of these facts we have been seeing online. And sadly, people have said that these people are doing these things legally, though they are unfortunate. And I believe the president is doing the right thing to keep quiet and let them just dance in their mess. We are going to tell who is right on our side and who is not. And even the Peter Mpakas know that the thing has entered their bedroom. Most of their members of parliament are also participating in this, and it is unfortunate. I believe that the NEC, which I heard is chaired by the great Nubian Lees and the Eddie Mutwes and the great members.
Why are you vulgarizing this party?
I'm not vulgarizing NUP. Eddie Mutwe is a citizen of Uganda, and he has a right to belong to a party, political party. Nubian Lee is a citizen of Uganda and is a smart gentleman. He has a right to belong to a political party. Butcherman and all those. So they have a right. Yes, that's why I'm saying he's a citizen of Uganda and has that right.
Okay.
So I believe the president still like
Bruce Wakunda.
yes, Mr. Bruce Wakunda said the president has a right to do better. Sun Tzu in The Art of War wrote and said that there is a time in war when the general has to borrow one of his leaders' heads. Let the president sacrifice some of these people. Let him use a big whip so that he shows us that the country is still in the safe hands of the right person. If he does not do anything about this, we are running into a mess, and unfortunately our country is going to be left to the vultures. When our time to eat comes, we may not find what to eat there readily available. I thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yes.
I think I want to
Speak to the microphone.
for the benefit of the viewers. I want to challenge my fellow members of the panel to list at least 4 things which they think the speaker has done wrong. Because you see, you can come here and make allegations that these things are going wrong, accusations of corruption, but what are these things?
Okay, we can
So-
give you the 4 things.
Number 1, yes.
Number 1, the radio station of the speaker enters into a contract with parliament, and the people who signed are officers in the office of the speaker, not managers of Bukedia FM, Mama Bukedia FM. Number 2, money meant for the office of the speaker's activities, though exaggerated and extremely exaggerated, are being picked by drivers, are being picked by bodyguards, are being picked by her the spokesperson.
But the question
office.
is, what is the credibility of the sources of that information? Because if
Maybe-
I'm the
maybe ask
speaker
that.
and
see,
you're accusing me,
maybe you see West J. Maybe ask that.
and I'm asking.
Even
And
then,
maybe
what
that
if
should, but
these
for
people
Wenje,
are
for
picking the
Wenje,
money
for
on behalf of the
Wenje.
speaker? The speakers sent them. You get me that money
on their
and I
account.
use
Why
it.
not on her account? They should be picking the money from the account of the speaker,
Yes,
not
yes,
their personal
yes,
account.
Yes, yes, that's
And
right.
that is
that's right.
But you
the
see,
issue.
That's
but you
right.
see, Boyne,
That is a
Yes.
hidden
if,
issue.
if,
So
if
for
a
me,
person like Mpuga comes out and says the same source of information says that he was handed 500 million shillings as a service award, and he does not go ahead to refute the same,
Yes.
what is the presumption of law that he has
Yes.
accepted it to be factual?
Yes.
All right.
and then number 2,
How
if-
come
if-
that same source can be so wrong on Anita Annette Among, but so right
On Burora.
on Mpuga?
Burora and Burora
You-
reaches a point where he loses a job, loses an office because he dared touch the leopard's ass. You see, that is the question I
That
have.
he's being interdicted for questioning the conduct of
But
the
the
speaker.
letter is here.
He's being
The letter from-
interdicted for
letter
the language
from
that he
Haj.
used.
No. The letter
A
from
language.
Haj Yunus Kakande
Yes,
is here.
it doesn't.
We can read it
What
here.
does it say?
We can read it.
Does it say that we are suspending you because you talked about the speaker? No, it is because of the language. You see,
The letter.
when you use words like "kama is a beach," "atuba,"
No.
Yes,
No.
yes.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
Thirty-two minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. My name is Wesigye Banyaji. It's time to get to know what you think about this topic of discussion. To the lifeline of the show, the telephone calls are now open on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. On X, Matsko Coleman, you're saying the RDC is talking like a foreigner. Anyway, the corruption at Parliament should be investigated. Those are our taxes and they're being misused. Alan Arinda, on X, you're saying Nyamisindo Masha, essentially listening to the radio as usual. I think the members are right to discuss about, because nowadays everything is known through social media. Thank you. Greenwood Shaggy, you're saying you're in Kanoni Kazo. I think we should leave the topic about called corruption because it's a headache that we cannot stop. Derek, I'm Tarema, you're saying it was the right time for the interest of the public who voted to represent them in Parliament. It raised a lot of questions why Parliament is the arm that practices corruption and misuse of taxpayers' money. Now, Tuijuka Jim, I see you. You're listening again from Ishaka. Ian Mpiameru Hanga, you're saying it is true corruption is in Parliament. Nwahede Zafostino in Chizo Babshenyi, you're listening again. Shimi, you're listening again. Let's go to those that are watching the television. Greenwood Shaggy, I see you. Nwasa Celabronex, you're watching. Ayavazibwe Isaac, you at KIU, thank you. Pius Muhwezi, you're in Luboa, where the hospital that is supposed to be constructed is not leaving the ground. Thank you to Rinawe Imax. You're saying things that concern corruption should not be swept under the carpet. The speaker should have let things be brought to the table. To Yamsi Magodwin, you're saying you're in Nyavisirira Town Council Kashad. I hope I got the pronunciation right there. I think the speaker was right on his side because himself is a victim, so he cannot join the people that are hurting a thief. Then to Mwebaze David on Cruise TV, you're watching all the way from Kabade. Asimwe Aaron, you're watching the show from Uganda Technical College in Bushenyi. Manyiro Mujuni Clifton, you're watching all the way from Ibanda, Nyaruhanga Ward. Antonia Ibazibwe, you're watching. Isaac Ahabwe, you're watching from Nakawa in Kampala. Let me get more of your messages on Facebook. Let me read some of those. Right about now, go to 912 Cruise FM on Twitter and the 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. Matthias Major, big time contributor, you're saying it's so unfortunate that Parliament is so reluctant and has now tended to wait for us whistleblowers who do not have any means of making an alarm, and we use the media as Parliament, and so those allegations should be given attention and discussed. Orishaba Marcel saying there is no smoke without fire. Investigation should be done and later the matter discussed. Akandwanaho Fred in Bara Comprehensive College. I see you. Languino Ahuera. You're saying someone said corruption is a surname of Uganda. Announce Justice. I see you. Arinda Alan, you're in Masha. And you're saying listening to radio. I read those messages. Bamwine Lawrence, big time contributor, you're saying we all have come to accept that social media is a source of information and that is credible. Parliament is right to debate about such allegations because they are raised concern among Ugandans and deserve accountability. To Yamsima Gordon, I see you. And Nwamanya Edson, Ugandans should first ask themselves why the speaker toned down these requests, because we all know she's among those that are being accused. You're in Kakoba at BSU. Ivan Palvov, you're in Rushere, Chiruhura, and you're saying I doubted our speaker the first time she entered Parliament. We shouldn't expect anything right from her. Let me end with Ann I, who is saying, yes, I believe it's right to debate the allegations because we have seen allegations on media actually come out to be true. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Hello, Wesley.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
You're talking to Mr. Adam Machinian right from Shema.
Yes, please.
So now I can confirm that it's a very hard morning for that Deputy RDC of Mbarara. I'm in memory of late Jacob Olanya's speech on World Corruption Day, where I see who are not born lawyers. And they shouldn't shield corruption in the name of law. To me, we should all fight corruption by punishing mercilessly those who are accused. I thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that call. The Big Said, good morning.
Morning, Miss Diana.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Jega Monique Dixon from Sigarama Sema.
Yes, Dixon.
And we first welcome your fellow presenters.
So we appreciate you very much. Let me pick more of your calls right now on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The Big Said.
Yes, Mr. Banyaga.
I'm called Banyaji. Good morning.
Okay, over the program.
You're kusema.
No Governor Nyihangane Ivan kurga Mutara Sub County Umramtoma District.
Yes, Ivan.
Ebara habu mramogwe. Nyenda kwamiza abanyarwanda bona. Corruption eje yorukureba. Corruption no muntu buntu. Ne kurwanye wenaniwe. Echo kubanza cyabyona. Turigira pate yona omuhangomu gijetine corruption. Ko kubano reba Western sa mpuga. Mukawaye ari kumubinga nigasara kumwemereza hamuno mogwe abuja gwakafana akasimo. Haze mu bwatu akamubinga akamwemereza hamuno mogwe gwakafana akasimo. Nyoni mbende enkora burunje buzumururwa. Na pate jeri ne ijana yo. Ne corruption. When it's a money family, I get the rule. Yera mari corruption. No.
Thank you. The Big Said.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Banyaji and the panelists.
Yes, good morning.
This is Egan in Kampala.
Yes, Egan in Tambi.
In regard to...
Hello. Yes, Egan, we are not hearing you. We've lost you a bit.
Yes, I would like to submit in regard to what happened this morning. One, I would like to bring to Mr. Brera, who has been another CC here in Ruvaga, working with government, wouldn't seem right to criticize a speaker day in, day out. Two, we have so many corruption payments in Uganda, and more particularly here in Ruvaga, where he has been studying. Why doesn't he criticize that? It would seem to me that it has been a personal, personal grudge. It has been something based on facts. I don't think Vurora himself, as another CC, has had information every single day. It's important that sometimes humility must prevail at some point, and you have limits. That's why you see people who I feel it was right for him to be screened. That's number one. And I would actually pray that the suspension in that instance so that other leaders can know their limits. That if you are a mayor, you respect a member of parliament. If you're a member of parliament, you respect a minister. Then Uganda can be better for us to be irrespective of how corrupt or incorrupt we are. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Egan in Tambikato, all the way from Kampala, from being a part of the show. I appreciate you. That was a former colleague here. The Big Said.
Good morning, Banyan.
Yes, good morning.
This is Henry Tunao from Wanyanga, Kashuni. I'm so thankful for your program.
Thank you.
I think every Ugandan who is listening to the radio is able to see what NUK is doing. The pressure it is putting on our corrupt leaders. I wish Museveni and his government can see and do the same. It should come out and rebuke these guys. At least it should come out and rebuke any corrupt person. First of all, we saw among the way she was moving all over the world. It shows that Ugandans, we are being cheated everywhere. I do thank your program. I thank Peter Mpaka. Whatever they are doing in the program every day, they come out and tell Ugandans, they open up their eyes and tell them, see what is happening. Let's all come out and support NUK, support Bob Wine. We fight corruption really. Thank you, Banyaji.
All right. Dr. Clifton Manyiromujuni Kada, all the way from Uganda, is saying, if there is a smart corrupt officer in this country, Right Honorable Anita Among is number one. So I appeal to all anti-graft agents to start up investigations against her. And if they can't, it's an indicator that the stage of corruption in this country is born and part of our DNA. Thank you, Clifton, for always being a part of the show. You've consistently contributed, and we want to appreciate you very much. Twin Emma, Imi, if that's all I pronounce the name right. You're in Rentondo on BSU. You're listening to the show. I want to appreciate you. Levis Mukamat Kwase, and there's so many big-time listeners of the Big Set. Let me come back to the panel, and I will later pick some of your messages. But maybe the question now that I should put to the panel is that there is a structural problem that all of us now recognize. Parliament cannot be self-accounting. The Auditor General is an office of Parliament. President Museveni makes political decisions. He will not fire. Even the Constitution does not give him some of these powers. And we are at a catch-22 as a country. The people that are supposed to be monitoring and watching for us and the fight against corruption, the opposition, they're being paid off, right? Where do we go from here, Bruce Wakunda?
We are in a very difficult position as a country, because look at the kind of leaders we have. I told you, even in the opposition, even in the NRM, if Bruce is not doing well, the alternative is supposed to be Mpaka. But if you find that Mpuga is eating with Among, Semuju is also part of the cartel that is using underhand methods to take our money. That's where I come back to Article 1 of the Constitution. Power belongs to the people.
People power, our power.
So it boils down to the people. If the people can stand up for themselves.
Because such allegations in another country will trigger an insurrection or some kind of statement from the people. But we look docile. We look like we can't do anything about it.
We've become so carefree and complacent. Leaders are...
Is it a matter of envy? Do we envy these leaders that are eating this money? We think that if we swapped places, we would perhaps have a better share of the cake too.
Yeah, that is it, you see. We look at crooks. We look at people who take part in corruption. We look at people who take part in these schemes to steal our money, and we admire them. We envy them. We hold them in high regard.
Bruce,
we give them front seats.
The religious leaders will take a position in matters like this. Where are they?
No, but they are part of the cabals. That's why they give front seats to these crooks when they come with money. So if now you are a principled politician, you're incorruptible. You stand for the people. You are going to be isolated. Even mere at the workplaces, in the private sector, even in government. If you are not willing to take part in stealing, to be part of the deals, you're going to be isolated. You're going to die poor. You're going to die frustrated. You're going to die a pauper. Your kids will be asking you, when Banyaji was grabbing land, where were you? When he was your colleague. So you see, there is a problem with the entire structure of our society. We have accepted corruption to look like the most ideal way of making money and of being a decent person. So every one of us must look back.
In fact, Chris Obori, who is the spokesperson, who is the director of communications at Parliament, said, where are the angels? We want to see the angels that are castigating Parliament are actually part of the problem.
I don't want this.
Mr. Wakunda is here trying to appear as if he's concerned about the people of Uganda. Yet he's not. Let me ask him. Of course, he is trying to say that the status quo is bad. Corruption is the order of the day. It is a blood which flows in our veins. It is the oil which feeds.
It's the air we breathe.
The engine of the NRM. Yes, but you ask him one question: which party is he going to vote in 2026? The same thing. he's here. Ask him.
Which party are you going to be?
Ask him.
Who are you voting? Because we know the contenders.
No, but you see,
No.
we shall cross the bridge when we reach. They are different. They are different dynamics. What if I'm convinced by this political party that Semuju and
Okay,
and-
you will cross.
Yes.
Yes, you get convinced.
No, you see,
But you will cross
when
when you
it-
get
when
convinced.
when we get there, I'm going to weigh the political party.
No,
Hey.
he never wait.
No,
His
however-
decision is already made.
No, it is not
His
fine.
decision is already made.
No,
You see,
it is not.
What
Don't
I
speak,
should ask
don't
him.
speak for me.
What I should, I think, ask him. Actually, what he should have said, I would vote for another party, not NRM, because I don't expect NRM to.
I'm
change.
going,
Okay,
and
thank
I
you.
want to tell you.
Yes.
No, let me
I
conclude.
don't-
Let-
Okay, let's allow
policy.
Bruce conclude. Then I will give you Peter.
For corruption, for us to deal with corruption, it is going to take very radical reforms.
Who is going to spearhead the radical
The
reform?
president and
Who?
the president.
Retired
The same person.
Retired president.
No, that's why I'm
I
saying
see.
it is going to take radical reforms.
Which
And
which
mass-
radicalism?
and farm-
But which radicalism is it talking?
and
Yataina cha
farm-
kugamba.
and farm political will.
There's nothing.
No, at the end of the day, it starts with the president, especially these people he appoints. At least the constitution gives him some powers. He appoints some, and he can disappoint some.
He's disappointing Burora who has come out to speak. What are you saying?
Okay.
For me, what I want to tell abakakura nkonya batahi banje n'abakatera masimbi. I want to tell you, ebyebigambo bya owakunda mutabitwara. Do not borrow or listen to the narrative of owakunda Bruce that
So they should listen to
that corruption. No.
That is run by a small clique of family members.
But which family are you talking about?
Nyanzi, Bobby Wine, now the in-law is in the leader of oppositions, yet studied tourism.
Can we examine
But Museveni
examine
is
the education commission by Museveni?
No, but why do you want to benchmark on the same Museveni that
Hey.
you say has failed the country?
No. So
Let me
don't.
give
Two
my-
wrongs
Don't-
do not
when
make
even
something right.
NRM is dirty.
But why don't you always
We all
protect
know
it?
they've
Okay, okay.
Something everyone
Let's
can
allow
say.
him. Okay.
So for me, this is what I want to say. That Among should not be deceived that she's part of them. She should actually come to the realization and remember where she came from. Mpuga should not be convinced and confused that she is part of the Hima dynasty that is mismanaging our country that we are fighting against,
but you can-
that we want to dislodge.
which-
she
can
is
you-
not
No,
part
you
of
cannot
them.
go along
He is
with it.
not
Hey,
part
Look
of
at
them.
look at the
First
top
wait,
echelon of this
why
country.
don't I
In
get
cabinet,
Why-
in a- yes, in
Hey.
cabinet,
Hey.
you can tell me how many people the Bahima is saying
Hey.
in the top echelon of this country,
Yes.
in their president.
Wait.
The first
Bahima, you
No,
Bruce,
you
don't
tell me.
allow you. No.
he cannot go away with
Yes. Okay. Then then what should he say?
No, he cannot say a statement here and doesn't substantiate on it. I want him to.
You see, when you read the handbook, there's the ranking of the top 43 officers of government. Okay, from the president up to the vice chancellors of universities.
And how many of those
the
are
43 of them. Now, who of them is more powerful than Salim Saleh? None of them.
No, but
But he does not appear
No,
there.
no.
But he's the most powerful. You cannot do anything
No.
when Salim Saleh
Speak to the microphone.
has
Wenje.
countermanded it.
No, he cannot. No, you cannot convince me.
Yes.
Because what do you, which office does Salim Saleh
Of course.
operate?
Uh-huh.
Those are
Not there.
informal
It
structures,
is not
and we
there.
cannot go by them.
So we
it
cannot
is
go by
informal.
them.
Yes,
it
by
is
informal structures.
But
Which position does Saddam Hussein
Sahab.
in government?
it is not there. But
So,
he's the most
those are-
powerful there.
no,
Where do you,
those are-
where do you derive that
Yes.
where do you get that information that his Saleh is very powerful? He does not head any procurement agents of government. He is not part of the judiciary.
No,
He's not a serving military general. Where do you
you
get this
have been
information?
making this
Minister,
tribalistic
but
utterance,
no.
getting away with
Talking
it.
about tribes
Your
is not
toxicity,
tribalism.
Hey.
your toxicity
No, you
should
see,
have limits,
and
by the way.
yes.
You are here. You see, him being him
want to
tell-
does not mean
No,
that
I'm
he
not
should
the first. You have
intimidate
not
me.
asked me my
Okay?
friend.
No,
Who has said? Who has told you? Who has?
He is.
I
I know
told
him.
Brenja,
I have
Brenja, I
seen
told
him.
you. It is not a
And see,
mistake that you
people
have
like
2
him,
years
ears and one mouth.
People like him,
you should listen more than you speak.
Like him,
but you see,
should not.
We are not
their slaves.
No, let's listen.
Let's their slaves. We are not their slaves.
Bruce, I know all of you.
Okay.
Listen, I know all of you have touched a very sensitive part, especially
slaves.
to Wakunda.
Yes.
But the point is,
why we are fighting the Hima dynasty?
Why
we want to dislodge
and we are going
Hima
to
dynasty.
die.
So I want to tell Zalita among them Hima. She's not part of them. That's why I said she's not part of them. She should not steal.
It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
New Year, new thrill.
Great friends.
We're on the final lap of the show, about 10 minutes to the top of the hour on Western Uganda's biggest radio station. 91.2 Cruise FM, great music, great friends. You badly want to talk about the registration? Okay, conclude.
Westje, before Owakunda came in to disrupt me, I was sending a strong and categorical warning to Mrs. Magogo and the Honorable Mpuga and the Honorable Semuju that please, you are not part of them. Fortune may have brought you near where power is or where bags of money are, but remember that you started with the struggle, especially Anita Among. She was in FDC. Even Thomas Tayewa of Mitoma. You guys were in FDC. You were part of the struggle. Mpuga, you were part. We expect you to be part of the struggle. So please fight for the cause of the ordinary Uganda.
Thank you. To another topic as we get out of here, we have 10 minutes to go. NRM registration is on. It would be prudent I start with Bruce, who is a card-bearing member of the National Resistance Movement. I know, Bruce, you're interested in whatever that is happening in the NRM. There's a low voter turnout. We know there's a lot of money that has been released for the same. Are people losing trust in the party? What is the problem?
No, I think it was in 2005, 28th July, when we went multi-party.
Yes, 2005.
And we must agree that political parties play a critical role in deepening democracies, in modern democracies. And they are important vehicles for political mobilization and organization. But for long I've held the view that we are not ready for multi-party politics. And now that people are privy to what is happening in the movement, happening in the NOP now, what has happened to the FDC, partly people have lost trust in political parties. Two, for the NRM, I think they needed to go to the grassroots structures, do massive mobilization and publicity, so that people can come in and register, so that they can take part in these activities. So the low voter turnout, I'm not necessarily
low voter registration.
Low registration, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised, because I keep saying politics has largely remained an activity for elites. Because when you go to the parish level and ask who is the Secretary General of the NRM, how many people can know Richard Todo? So all they know is President Museveni. So what kind of multi-party politics is that? People have somehow lost interest, but that's what we have now. So we must make a crusade. We must call upon people, all people that belong to and believe in the NRM, to go out there and take part in this activity.
Thank you, Bruce Wakonda. Yes.
Yes, I wanted to say
Speak.
that
Yes, there.
it is bad for democracy for a party which is in power, which has been, I think, a registered party since 2005, to be struggling to recruit members. It is a very bad indicator. And of course, it would also mean that even other parties might struggle as well. So I think I call upon those people who are members of the NRM, go and do what?
But
and register.
Does it speak of the interest of the people?
No, you see, me, I'm speaking as an advocate of democracy. As an advocate, I don't take any pride in seeing a party struggling to recruit members, because we have to provide space for all of them.
They should give you a job.
You see, you see, let him not focus on me and the NRM. But even if it was NUP or the FDC,
for you arguing the principle.
Yes, it is not good for democracy in a multi-party dispensation to see a party, a registered political party, struggling to identify her members. It is bad. Even if it was NUP holding primaries and no one is standing up, I'll be concerned. Even if it was DP. Because my objective or my desire is to see political parties competing, and you cannot compete if you don't have members.
Thank you,
but I want to request Wenje to concentrate on law. And become a professor professor of law.
But he refused to come and teach us.
This is law.
He refused to come and teach us.
Concentrating on law. Law means that political parties must fulfill what they were formed for.
Okay.
But do we
The
have
moment
political
they don't
parties?
have members,
The
they'll be
question
struck
is,
off.
in the picture of Uganda, do we
Yes.
have political parties?
Yes,
We
yes,
do
they
not.
are there.
We do not have political
No,
parties.
we have a register
We
of
do not.
political
Let me
parties.
tell you.
Our time is fast.
whether- as whether they are
there are two
doing that.
people that have. Okay.
Let me finish.
Yeah. Look, feel
What we
confident.
have is an utter dictatorship, a junta of some sort.
What are you doing in the
So
NUP?
what I'm saying is, I'm in NUP doing activism to push out the junta.
But why
That
saying
is
they are
all.
political parties?
That is all. I'm not. I'm not. If it
Okay.
wasn't even a requirement, I wouldn't even subscribe to a political
How can
party.
you say
I
there are no
am
political parties and
fighting
yet you
for
say
the
why-
Kakura Nkonya and the Katera Masinde of Uganda. This
Hey,
is my point on this.
yes,
This is my point on this. I want to call upon Abanya-Uganda, Abaruhire. Mutazayu, don't go there. And I want to congratulate the people of Masaka who refused to go for this PLE thing.
But they had the numbers.
I want to ask them, I want to ask Mwabianjire, since even the whole registration has had a poor turnout. Mwabianjire chimwe, today don't go there, tomorrow their final day, don't go there. Don't even go there to register in the yellow book. We don't have a leveled ground practice democracy, so we cannot talk about abnormal things when we are in an we cannot talk about normal things when we are in an abnormal situation.
No, Henry.
I think Peter Mpaka is affirming what Bruce said, that NUP is not ready to lead this country. If he says there is no political party in this country and he belongs to NUP, it is sad. This is not the first time. This is not the first time we are seeing law turn up for registration for political parties. There's a time FDC organized such an event, and we only saw a few people in Makindi, I think, in some areas of Kampala, who turned up, probably after being paid by the Amuriats and what. So I urge the people out there, just like Bwenje said, please turn up, take part in the democratic process of this country. Do not lose hope. This is how we build structures, and this is how we teach these young people patriotism in this country. Go take part in these activities of these political parties, whether it is NUP, whether it is PLU. Here, Mr. Bwenje here has his own. I think at a given time he will also start recruiting people to join him. It is the right time to do what is right. And I believe that NRM, regardless of what people are saying, they have their registers already. You will be shocked. They have a strong presence in villages. And I believe these chairmen have already registered most of these things. I thank you so much, Mr. Wanyaji, for hosting.
Thank you. Let me give you Wakunda a minute to conclude. We rarely have you. You're literally going to Kampala until next year. So perhaps your parting shot.
No, it's always a pleasure to be here. That is, this is the biggest show, political show in Western Uganda, and it's always nice having me and meeting some new colleagues. Yes. I think I only knew Peter Mpaka, but I will always squeeze in time and come here.
Thank you, Bruce Wakunda. Thank you, Peter Mpaka. Thank you, Henry Nwamanya. Thank you, Bwenje Deus did it. My name is Wesige Banyaji. My punchline this week is, I think as a country, we know where the problem is. We know where the tumor is. We are held up, but how I wish one day we just say enough is enough and we get rid of these menace called corruption. But how this can happen is at a micro level. If individually we resist to take what is not owed to us, then the conversation can start.
Actually, people like you, Wesige, have bigger voices.
Yes, and I said them.
Yes, so use them.
Should stand for
use them.
Actually,
Wesige FMP. We are out of here. News at the top of the hour.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.